All right, so the next thing to do now is to create a variable that's going to get us those split expressions. I'm creating one called check1, and so this variable is going to be equal to expression, which obviously is the expression that they enter, but we're going to do this index minus 1. And I already explained to you guys why we're doing that is because once we find the index position, and by the way, you can do a spacing here. Once we find the index position of, if you want, you can do a spacing, by the way, guys, and if you don't want, you can make it close. That's also fine. So once you find the index position of the symbol, when you do a minus 1, so this plus sign is at an index position. Let me just write that here so you remember. The index position of the plus sign is basically equal to 2, right? We agree that it is 2 because it's on this 2 part, right? On 2, so it's 2. And so when we do an index minus 1 of that, we're basically we're going to get that 2 minus 1, which is going to give us that index position of 1, which is representing the x. So this would give us the x. And then when we get an index, and we do of the index, we do the index position again. So this index I'm talking about, minus 2, then we're going to be getting that 0, right? Because 2 minus 2, 2 is the index position, remember, of the plus sign. So minus 2, which is this part, gives us 0, which means we're getting this number. So now when we use this expression 1 that we were talking about and we join it with, we say, for example, index minus 2 plus index minus 1, we're talking about these two things. We join them together, then what are we going to be getting? If we do index, I'm going to put this in parentheses so that you see. If we say index minus 2, right? And we use the plus sign because it's a string. When we are trying to join like two things together and they're strings, we use a plus sign. Plus index minus 1 will give us this expression as 2x. You notice that I started with index minus 2. I didn't say index minus 1 first, because if you said index minus 1 first before 2, then you're going to be getting an expression that looks like x2, which is wrong, because you're starting with x first before 2. So this is the reason why I said index minus 2 first and then index minus 1, so I can get 2x, not x2, like that. See? This is what we want. And that's how it's going to do, and that's how it's going to work even for the second expression to get this 45, this number. And it's going to work same way to get that 89, in the same way. But you know, when you're looking forward, for 45, we're not going to do minus 1 and minus 2. We're going to do plus 1 because you're looking towards the right, not towards the left. You're looking forward from the index position of the operator. So you'll do plus 1 and then plus 2. And of course, 2 plus 1, what does it give you guys? 3. And then 2 plus 2, what does it give you guys? 4. So you can see here that you will be getting these two index positions that represent these two digits combined together to give you 45. So that's what we'll do, the same thing, but instead of index minus 1, minus 2. So I'm just going to copy this here and show you what we're going to do. Let's give a space so you understand what's going on. So for the second one, right, we'll do the same thing again. So the compiler is going to work in such a way where it's just going to find out what the index position, again, as we said, is of the symbol. So let's put that here. So it will find the index position of whatever symbol, whether it's a plus or minus. And this time, instead of doing minus, it will do plus 1. And that's going to give you what? 2 plus 1. Index position of this operator is 2. So plus 1 is 3, so it gives you this number 4, right? So it gives you 4 here. And then plus 2, what is it going to give you? It's going to give you this number, which is 2 plus 2, which is 4, right? And that's going to give you the fifth digit, like the 5, the number 5. So here will be 5. And so when you combine them, so in this case, you will combine index plus 1, not like how we did with the other one, because you're going to put 45. You want to put the 4 digits, not like 54. So you're going to do index plus 1 first, joining with index plus 2. And then, of course, that's going to give you what now? When you join these two together, what do you get, guys? You get the 45. And that's how it does. That's how it works. And that's how it's going to give you that expression, which is expression 2, right? So this is our expression 2. And it's the same thing it's going to do to give you expression 4. The expression 3 is just going to give you equal sign because that's like where you have the equal sign. And because that's where you need to find the index position 2 of the equal sign, so you can do a plus 1 and a plus 2. Same thing like what we just did now and get that 89 combined together. So it's going to work in the same way. The only difference, as I said, I'm going to do this again so you understand when we are coding, you wouldn't be confused. Here we will do the index position afterwards of the equal sign, because the equal sign is the one that comes just before the last number after it, because we want to know what the number after it is going to be so we can make the compiler solve this linear equation. So once it gets the index position of that equal sign, and again, just putting it here, whatever the index position is. So let's take this as an example again. We can see that the index position of the equal sign is 5. So that means that it will return 5, of course. So the index position will be 5. I'm just going to use a little arrow to show you the difference. So it returns 5. And so 5 plus 1 will give you that 6, which is going to represent this first digit in the number. And so it's going to do 8. And then 5 plus 2 is going to give you 7, which represents the second digit in the number, which is 9. And so by the time you combine index plus 1 and index plus 2, which is these two things, you combine them together using expression 3 as your joiner, you're going to end up getting this 89, which is what we have. Expression 4, sorry guys, not expression 3. Oh, I just changed things from the previous one. That was a mistake. I was changing the, yeah, this one's the one that we just did for 45. I was supposed to do it here. So here, as I said, it's going to find the expression for the equal sign, and I mean the index position, and the index position, as we can see, is a 5, so it's going to return that 5. Then by the time it does plus 1, it gives you 6, which then gives you the first digit of the number, which is 8 in this case. We're doing this example. And then it gives you plus 2, which gives you the second digit, 89. And by the time you combine all of that together, you get 89. But remember, we're using expression 4 for this part, so it ends up returning to you 89. And that's how it works. That's how it's going to break down things, and that's what we're going to do in our code right now. And that's what we are doing in our code right now to break it down. So you can see that I'm creating a variable check1, which is expression index -1, which basically I'm trying to get this part here. So the first, the variable, and then I'm going to get the number next to the variable. So that's what I'm doing in this section right here. So we're going to create a second variable. I'm going to call it check2. And this is obviously going to be expression -2, not +1. So I just used the AI assistant there. But it's going to be -2 because we're going to be getting this first part. So I'm basically doing this first part. Then I'm going to do this next part. And then I'm going to do the last part. And then it will make the compiler solve it. So here we'll do check2. And then we'll do the expression1 variable that we actually created, and that would be to combine expression1, which is like the joiner, to combine the two of them together to get like that 2x, as I showed you already. So, but we're going to do check2. We're going to put the number first before the x. So check2 plus check1. Now, once that is done, we're going to also make the compiler understand the symbol is equals to A in this case. Remember that A is representing the symbol, so you're saying symbol is equals to whatever symbol they have here, whether it's a plus or a minus. That's just what the symbol is going to be equal to, so we can use it to display in a print statement. Now we're going to do the check3, which is where we're going to now use to find this digit here, how we're going to get that digit. So same thing as I said, check3 will be equal to the expression, but this time index plus 1, and then check4 will be obviously equal to index plus 2, expression index plus 2. So again, this is the part where we get the number after the symbol, like after the operator, and that's going to be in our example that we just saw is like 45, right? Because that's the number that comes after the plus sign. So that's what we're trying to do there. And we're going to use expression 2 to join them together. So expression 2 is equal to expression 2, and that's going to be plus check3 plus check4. So you notice this time I'm going in a, a sequential manner, unlike this one where I started with 2 and 1. Here I'm going sequentially because we're trying to look forward. We're trying to get the number forward. So I'm not writing 54, but I'm writing 45. So that's why you see I'm making it sequential here. Now, once all of this is done, the next thing obviously is to do the part of the equal sign, as we already said. So now we're going to do the same similar thing, but we're going to get the index position of the equal sign in the expression so we can be able to get the digit that comes after the equal sign. So same procedure again. The only difference is now we're finding an expression for a different thing, not the operator, but the equal sign. So we're going to say if A equal, if it does find, or if it does equal an equal sign, like If it goes, what we're saying is when you're going through the expression, when the compiler is going through the expression and it detects an equal sign, then we want to get the index position of that equal sign, so we can do +1 and +2 as well, so we can get the fourth expression. So here we're going to do a count equal to count +1. Remember, we created this count variable, and again, the count variable we created is just to count how many things we're looking through. We're going to see how we're going to use it, how many things we're looking at in this expression. So here we're going to do expression 3 is going to be equal to the 8, which is the equal sign. So this is the part where we say expression 3 is basically equal to the equal sign. So it's just the equal sign, if that makes sense. I'm not going to say equal sign so you don't get confused, but we're saying it's just going to be the equal sign. And then we're going to be creating a variable called index1, another one, just like what we did with the index, to find the index position of this equal sign. So we're going to say expression.index of expression 3. So here I'm going to change it to exp3, which is the equal sign. And then we're going to do a check 5 and a check 5 because now we're going to be finding the digits that come after the equal sign. So we're going to say index 1 + 1 and then check 6, which is where we're going to say index expression equals to index 1 + 2 because we're trying to get like what is the digit that comes right after the equal sign if you look here, because once you know the index position, so what's the digit that comes after the sign and what comes after that digit? So we can combine them together and assign them to this expression 4, which is our string joiner, as you can see happening here. So it will be, again, check 5 + check 6. So that will just give us the digit. Now, once all of this is done, we can now go into the fact where we can print out the expressions so that the user can see. So we can print them out so the user can see, and also you're going to see it once we run the code. So I'm going to print out these expressions. I'm going to use a different color code. I'm going to go to the color code section. I'll copy this color code here and I'll just paste it in here. And then, of course, I'm going to take out this color code section and put the color that I want. So the color I'm going to go with for the printing of the expressions, I guess I'm going to go with 5. Let's try this dark purple. So I'll go with that dark purple color. And then we're going to print stuff like this. So I'm going to write print. Okay, and I'm going to do a nice ASCII art. I'm actually just going to write each one and then do an ASCII art. Expression 1. Obviously, is going to be this expression, the variable exp1. And then under that, I'll be putting an ASCII art. You don't have to put an ASCII art again. You could decide not to do this, but I just want to put an ASCII art just so it looks good in the display. And then I'm going to do expression 2, an ASCII art. So I'm going to use the AI assistant for this on MarsCode because it just makes it easier in display, and just already, this is things that you already know what it's going to display. So expression 3 is going to be expression 3. Oh, and one more thing. Before you do expression 3, you got to print symbol. So let's print the symbol as well. Print symbol. Symbol would be whether it's a plus or minus, depending on what operation they would like to perform here. And symbol has the variable as expression 3. So if you remember, symbol is equal to, oh, actually, we have it as symbol. So you can just print it as symbol. Symbol should have actually been printed not here, guys. It should be printed after expression 1 because you have expression 1, then symbol, then expression 2. So here you can print symbol. So symbol is going to be printed as symbol, and I'll just call that variable, which was symbol. So it prints it out. And then afterwards, once you print symbol, then you have expression 2. And then after expression 2, you have symbol again, because that's going to be the equal sign. So I'm going to print after that, you have again another symbol. So print again the symbol that comes after. And you can say operator here if you want to make it a little bit different, because this one would be plus or minus. If you want to differentiate it between a symbol and an operator, operator would be the plus or minus, symbol would be the actual symbol, which is the equal sign in this case. And so expression 3, because that would be the one that you had as the equal sign, remember on line 60. And then finally, you have expression 3, and then expression 3 is actually expression 4. if that makes sense, because remember that was the one that was going to combine the digits after the equal sign. So here expression 3 is going to be exp4. So that's it right there. You can try at this point just to see if it actually breaks down the expression before you continue. So let's see if it's working to break down the expression successfully before we continue. And from this, what the next thing we're going to do is check which type of formats they are entering. So when we talk about which type of format, are they entering the one where you have the number and the variable first, and then you have the number after, or are they entering the one where you have the number first? So we're basically just checking based on what the first expression is. Is the first expression where you have a number variable, or is the first expression where you have just numbers? So we know which type of format of equation they're entering, so we can make the compiler smart enough to know how to solve such an equation.